and welcome to University Field in Jacksonville, Alabama, where the Auburn Tigers and the Jacksonville State Gamecocks are ready to take the field in the home opener for Jacksonville State here in the 2022 season. I am Patrick Williams, and I'm glad to have you along for tonight's game, which should be a good one. Auburn comes into this game on the season at 9-1, ranked number 22, 21 or 22, depending on which poll you choose to use. And the Jacksonville State Gamecocks, 6-3 on the season. Of course, Auburn, a member of the Southeastern Conference, and Jacksonville State, a member of the A-Sun. Here's how Auburn will line up tonight. Michaela Packer in center field will hit first, followed by Sydney Cox and Nelia Peralta. Then you have Bree Ellis, Jesse Blaine, Lindsey Garcia, Lisenby Bryant, and McConaughey will round out Coach Mickey Dean's lineup. And Jacksonville State will line up like this defensively across the outfield left to right: Wagner, Bobbitt, and Buffington. Carson Mosley, Cameron McLemore, Brantley Bonds, Megan Fortner the infield. Abby Perkins doing the catching for pitcher Kat Carter. On the season, Carter is 3-1 with a 1.40 earned run average. She has made 4 starts so far on the young year and has pitched well. And we are underway as Packer swings at the first pitch, and she beats out the slow grounder to shortstop. McLemore unable to throw her out, and Packer is aboard with nobody out here in the top half of the first inning. Sydney Cox hitting second, batting .367 on the year. 1 homer, 7 runs driven in. The sophomore. And the first pitch from Kat Carter to Sydney Cox is high and away for ball 1. Cox out of Asheboro, North Carolina. Left-handed hitter. And she squares to bunt. And a throw quickly down to first, but Packer is back in time. 2 balls and no strikes to the Auburn third sacker. Capacity crowd here at University Field this afternoon, as fans are all over the place. They're hanging from the rafters here. Pitch from Cox is right through there for strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike on Sydney Cox as Carter tries to battle back here. Michaela Packer led off the game with an infield single. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Right back to Carter. She gloves it, shovels it to first in time, and Packer scoots all the way around to third base on the play. The putout goes 1-3 for the first out of the inning, but Packer is standing down there. Look how hard that ball was hit, right off the glove of Carter, and Carter jumps out of the circle to make the play. That will get Nelia Peralta to the plate. Peralta, 346, swings at the first pitch, lines base hit left field, and that will score Packer for the game's first run. Peralta on the first pitch, jumps all over it, lines a solid single to left. Took the inside pitch and just went with it. Sydney Wagner out there in left field had a little trouble with the bobbling the ball, but she was able to get it into the infield without Peralta advancing to second. And Bree Ellis, the hitter. Ellis, the freshman, playing first base tonight, hitting .391 on the season, and has 4 homers and 12 runs driven in on the young year. And that leads the SEC. She has a 1.043 slugging percentage on the season. And this Auburn lineup is full of power. They've already driven home 16 home runs this year in 10 games. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Ellis. And this one is launched foul and out of play. Count stays 0-2. Kat Carter, 3-1, 1.40, 35 innings pitched, which leads the Gamecocks. She's given up 23 hits coming in, 10 runs, 7 of them earned, 10 walks, and 17 strikeouts. This ball is lifted into left field, near the wall fence, and over the fence into the Auburn bullpen. Wagner unable to make a play on it. And the count stays 0-2. 1 out here in the top of the first. Nelia Peralta stands at first. She had an RBI single to drive in Michaela Packer. Here's the 0-2 pitch. High and away for ball 1. Auburn coached by Mickey Dean. He's in his 5th season in Auburn with 132 wins and 74 losses as the head coach. 610 and 246 overall in 16 seasons. There is a check swing by Ellis, fielded at third by Carson Mosley, and she will throw to first in time for out number 2. Peralta moves down to second, and that will get Jessie Blaine, the DP, to the plate.
Designated player number 22, Jessie Blaine.
Blaine hitting .364 on the year. 1 homer, 6 runs driven in. And the first pitch to her is a ball. One ball, no strikes to freshman Jessie Blaine. Low and away for ball 2. That one is lined softly to short, and putting it away is Cameron McLemore. And the first inning comes to a close, but Auburn breaks on top with a run in the top half of the first. Jacksonville State is coming up. You're watching college softball on ESPN+.
Is it worth it? The effort, the time? I don't know. Is it worth finding what you're capable of? Exploring your passion? Discovering your full potential? Yeah, it's an investment. An investment in you. So what do you think? Are you worth it?
Hey y'all, I'm Riley Green. While performing keeps me busy on the road, Alabama is where I was born and raised, and it will always bring me back home to vote. Writing songs allows me to use my voice to tell my story. You too can make your voice heard by registering to vote and obtaining a government-issued photo ID. Your civic participation is crucial to the success of us as a state. Together, let's make a difference for Alabama.
Take my hand, don't let go. Look in my eyes and in my soul. Hold me close, hold me near. Please let go of all your fear. I'm not going anywhere.
We go to the bottom half of the first inning as Maddie Pinto will be in the circle for Auburn. She has been perfect on the year, 4-0 record with a 1.18 earned run average. Starting her fifth game of the year, she's thrown 29 2/3 innings, and she will face Abby Perkins, the Jacksonville State catcher, to start out the bottom half of the first inning. Auburn broke out on top with a run in the top of the first. Perkins on the year, a .323 average. She lifts this one to the right side and off the glove of the second baseman, Denver Bryant. And Perkins gets new life. No balls and 2 strikes to Perkins. No homers, 1 RBI. She is starting her 10th game for the Gamecocks today, and that one is high or inside, a ball and 2 strikes. Penta has given up 16 hits on the year, coming in 6 runs, 5 of them earned, 8 walks, and a whopping 45 strikeouts. And she pulls a string there on Perkins, and she goes down swinging for out number 1. Good off-speed pitch there by Maddie Penta. Take a look at it. And Perkins way out in front. And good spin on the ball by Penta. Keely Bobbitt, the Jacksonville State center fielder, comes to the plate. .214 on the year, the senior, with no homers and 1 RBI. She fouls this one off to the screen. Bobbitt out of Lamar County High School in Vernon, by way of Wallace State Community College in Huntsville. Squares to bunt, pulls it back, and takes ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to Keely Bobbitt. Bobbitt with a swing and a miss. And Penta is ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes here. This one is off the plate outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Count even on Bobbitt. Bobbitt, a .303 career hitter. Slices this one down the left field line, but foul. Took a crazy hop on that turf down there. But we'll do the 2-2 pitch again. This is the first time Auburn, finish that thought in a second, liner to center field is squeezed by Packer. And Bobbitt is retired. That will bring the DP up. Sophomore Lindsey Richardson. She is hitting .423 on the year. As you take a look at Bobbitt's line out again. Richardson with 2 homers, 7 RBIs. Open stance here against Penta. Swing and a miss for strike 1. This is the first time Auburn has visited Jacksonville State since 2009. For the first time in regular season play, total since 2014. So these two teams have not met in a while in the regular season. They have met 3 times in recent years in NCAA regional action, but regular season matchups have been a bit of a rarity. They have played 20 times before today in the regular year. Richardson, 1-1, fouled off. And she's down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Coach Jana McGinnis, the head coach of the Jacksonville State Gamecocks, in her 29th season. She's won 958 games as the head coach here at JSU. Here is a weak grounder to first, and A flip by Ellis to the second baseman, Denver Bryant, and Jacksonville State has the first inning come to a close. 1-0, Auburn leads it as we go to inning number 2. You're watching college softball on ESPN+.
All fans in attendance will receive a voucher for a free cup of coffee brought to you by the Red Bird Coffee House. The JSU representative will be by the press box to hand out these vouchers if the Gamecocks build a 2-run lead by the end of the second inning. Gamecock fans, if either team hits the Chick-fil-A foul poles during today's game, make sure to bring your ticket or JSU ID to Jacksonville Chick-fil-A for a free chicken sandwich.
Starting the top half of the second inning, standing in for Auburn, Lindsey Garcia, the right fielder, the junior. 375 on the year, no homers, 4 runs driven in. And Kat Carter begins her second inning of work, and that one is right through there for strike 1. Coach Mickey Dean occupies the third base coaching box. Auburn legend Emily Carasoni, assistant coach, in the first base coaching box. 0-1. Lifted on the infield and squeezing it. Cameron McLemore. Garcia flies out for out number 1. Just got under that one a little bit and right to the shortstop. Aubrey Lisenby now comes to the plate, the catcher. Lisenby out of Wenzel, Missouri. And she stands in against Carter. Lines this one to left field, but foul. Lisenby, 263 on the year. No homers, 3 RBIs. No balls, 1 strike. Carter delivers. Again, lifted softly on the infield. This time the squeeze is put on by second baseman Brantley Bonds. And quickly 2 are out for Auburn here in the top of the second. Denver Bryant will come to the plate. Second baseman, the sophomore, hitting .409 on the year. 2 homers, 7 RBIs. Carter's pitch up and away for ball 1. 2 down in the second. Auburn broke on top in the first inning, 1-0. This one dances inside for ball 2. Bryant, a 5'6" sophomore out of Albany, Georgia, and Doherty High School. This one is fouled back to the screen. Kat Carter goes to the rosin bag here. 2-1 pitch coming. Here it is. Swing and a miss. Good velocity on that one from Carter. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Bryant. That one way upstairs, and the count is full. And here's the 3-2 pitch. Bounce toward third. Caught on the short hop nicely by Mosley, and she throws to first in time for the out. She had to catch that one on a little bit of a short hop there, and she stayed with it and made the play on Bryant, and that will bring the top half of the second to an end. We go to the bottom half with Auburn leading 1-0. You're watching college softball on ESPN+.
Our job is to keep your lights on. That's what you expect and deserve from Alabama Power. Our team works hard to prevent outages, but when they happen, we're on it. And we have some new tools to keep you informed. Visit Alabama Power's new outage map to see local outages and get repair time updates. Sign up to get personalized outage alerts by text or email for free. While we're out there getting your lights back on, we want you to have the latest information. That's our job, and we're grateful you trust us to serve you.
I feel blessed to do what I do for a living. Our job is to keep the lights on. You depend on us for that. The work isn't glamorous. When the weather gets bad, some days are tough. But we take pride in making sure your power works when you flip the switch. We take pride in being reliable at a time when few things are. That's our job, and we're grateful that you trust us to serve you.
Every bank has their own app, but it's just that, theirs, not yours. At AmFirst, our app was made for you, so it's easy to pay bills, deposit checks, or transfer money to friends and family from anywhere. It's even customizable, which means you can personalize your dashboard, create usage alerts, and redeem points for rewards you'll love, and you can do it all on your own time. So what are you waiting for? Get the app made for you.
The bottom of the second inning for the Gamecocks is second baseman number 8.
Bottom half of the second inning, and standing in for the Gamecocks is the cleanup hitter, Brantley Bonds. First pitch to her catches the black on the outside part of the plate for strike one. Bonds on the year leading the team in hitting with a 485 average, 3 homers, which also leads the team, and 14 RBIs, which also leads the team. So she's had a good start to the year, but she's down in the count here, 0-2. Pinta beginning her second inning of work. She worked a 1-2-3 bottom of the first. Waste that one outside. Swing and a miss for strike 3 as Pinta brought the heat there, and Bonds could not catch up to it. Hannah Buffington now the Gamecock hitter. See how that ball rose into the eyes of Bonds. She strikes out. Here's McLemore, the shortstop. 400 on the year, 1 homer, 1 RBI. And here's a drive out to right field, shallow, and coming in is Garcia to make the play. And a quick 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Hannah Buffington comes to the plate, the right fielder. 357, no homers, 2 RBIs. Out of Fort Payne High School in Fort Payne, Alabama, the freshman takes strike 1. Penta is a 6'2 sophomore. She's out of Chesapeake City, Maryland. Ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mickey Dean has assembled quite a pitching staff for the Tigers. And that one just missed. Coach Dean wanting an appeal, and first base umpire Brad Sloan says she did not go. Aaron Golden calling the balls and strikes. Sean Schumacher over at third. 2-1 to Hannah Buffington. This one is lifted again, shallow right field, and Bryant scoots over from the second base position to put a squeeze on that one, and that will also put a squeeze on the second inning of play. Auburn leads this one 1-0 as we go to the third. You're watching college softball on ESPN+.
JSU Athletics thanks Adidas for serving as the official apparel provider for the Gamecocks. Leading off the top of the third inning for Auburn.
We go to the third here,
Number 12,
and
Carly
Auburn
McConaughey.
will send the number 9 hitter, Carly McConaughey, to the plate. The left-handed hitter playing left field today, and she takes strike one from Kat Carter. Carter with a 1-2-3 second inning, and she's retired 5 straight after she gave up the RBI single to Nelia Peralta back in the first. McConaughey squares to bunt, takes a strike. 0-2 the count. McConaughey out of Gardendale High School. Fouls this one back. She's hitting .318 on the year, 1 homer and 8 RBI. And here is the 0-2 pitch from Carter. That one bounced up there for ball one. We talked about the crowd here today. There are a number of local high school teams that have come to watch this one who are sitting in the crowd. One and two the count. Swing and a miss as Carter climbed the ladder there and records her first strikeout. So McConaughey will retreat to the dugout and the top of the order back up. And that will bring Michaela Packer, who singled to lead off the game. It was an infield hit, and she wound up coming around to score, showcasing her speed for sure. off-speed pitch is a little up and away for ball one. Packer out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Fouls this one back after that infield single for her that raised her average up to 379 on the year. Count even at 1 ball, 1 strike. Fouls this one out of play, back into the crowd. Carter ahead 1-2 here. That one is lined into left field for a base hit for Packer. And she is 2 for 2 on the day. And she is extremely dangerous on the base paths. Here it is again. Just took the inside pitch and turned on it. Got it into left field. That's the 3rd hit surrendered by Carter. And Packer, who is 6 out of 6 on stolen bases, stands at first. And Sydney Cox, who grounded out to Carter in the 1st inning, is in there. There is a bouncing ball to first, and Fortner cannot handle it. It bounces off of her, and they will score that an error on Megan Fortner. So runners on 1st and 2nd now as Packer moves down. Here it is again. The turf just kind of ate her up there, and by the time she recovered, no way she was going to be able to throw out either Packer or Cox. Now Nelia Peralta comes up. She has an RBI single in the game. And the pitch is right through there. Carter, freshman out of Spring Hill, Tennessee, has had a good start to the season. Facing arguably the most difficult lineup she's faced this year. This one is lifted into center field. Packer tags at 3rd. Now will put on the brakes and retreat back to 2nd as a good throw was made by Bobbitt from center field. So Peralta is retired, and now there are 2 outs. She just got under that one. And Bree Ellis, who grounded out to 3rd in the 1st inning, will stand in. Runners on 1st and 2nd with 2 out now. Carter trying to battle out of some trouble. Lifted foul. Stayed out. Well, actually it went out of play, I believe, down the left field line. Lots of action going on for both of these schools in different venues today. Talk about that in a moment. Here's the 0-1 pitch first to Bree Ellis. Lifts this one weakly to first. Fortner calls for it and makes the play. And the soft fly out to the first baseman will bring the inning to a close. No runs on 1 hit and 1 error, and 2 runners left on base for Auburn. We go to the bottom of the 3rd with the Tigers leading it 1-0. You're watching college softball on ESPN+.
With one strikeout in that inning, the Gamecocks now have a strikeout, an Oleo strikeout in today's game, with the Gamecocks strike out 6 opposing batters in any home game this season. Everyone in attendance will receive a coupon for a free donut from our friends at Oleo's, located in the Grub Mart. Leading off the bottom of the third.
Houston Coal Library lit up in the background here of University Field, lit up in red across the top of that balcony. It's a great vantage point for watching softball, just in case you're wondering. And we get ready for the bottom half of the third inning, and we've got some sort of delay taking place, something going on down the right field line. And everybody, umpires consulting with coaches, and looks like everything's good. So that will bring Carson Mosley to the plate for Jacksonville State. So far, Maddie Pinta has not allowed a base runner. This one's fouled back and out of play into the seats. And it's 0-1. Mosley 207 on the year, 2 homers, 5 runs driven in. Takes one inside. Mosley, a .320 career hitter, and she is well under her career average so far this season. You know she would like to get it going. Swing and a miss. A ball and 2 strikes on the Gamecock third baseman. And Pinta goes up and away with it. Swing and a miss by Mosley. And she goes down swinging. That's the 3rd strikeout for Maddie Pinta. And Megan Fortner will be the hitter. Gamecock first baseman. 240 on the year, a homer and 5 runs driven in. The junior out of Saraland High School in Saraland, Alabama. Pinta has set down 7 batters in a row to start the game. And a strike taken there by Mosley. A ball and a strike. Up and away, 2 balls and a strike. Coach Jana McGinnis in the third base coaching box. Assistant coach Julie Boland down at first. And a swing and a miss by Mosley. And it's 2-2. That one is lifted out of play, foul. Count stays 2-2. Auburn in the midst of a pretty long non-conference slate before they begin SEC play March 11th through 13th. They will host Texas A&M at Jane B. Moore Field. Mosley takes ball 3. And that one is grounded to deep short. Nice throw, strong throw there by Peralta, and she retires Fortner for the second out of the inning. Got her by a step.
Sydney Wagner.
Jacksonville State will send Sydney Wagner to the plate, the left-handed hitter, playing left field. 294 on the season, no homers, no RBIs. Wagner out of Moody, Alabama. This one is fouled right back toward me and hits the screen. Wagner, the senior. Takes that one upstairs. A ball and a strike. As far as I can tell, Jacksonville State is the only scheduled ASUN team on Auburn's schedule this year. This one is fouled back out of play into the stands. And a nice catch by a fan. Conversely, Jacksonville State will play Auburn. And I want to correct myself. Auburn does play Kennesaw State later on in March. Auburn will also play Alabama and Mississippi State this season. Jacksonville State will, pardon me. And will return to Auburn later on in the spring as well. Full count now to Sydney Wagner. Lines this one down the left field line. But McConaughey cannot make the play on it. And we'll have another payoff pitch to the Gamecock left fielder. Here it is. Again, she spoils it. Good battle here between Penta and Wagner. And she taps that one foul. Just did stay alive. Three balls, two strikes, two are out here in the bottom of the third. Aubrey Lisenby checks her pad, and there's the first base hit of the game for Jacksonville State. A liner off the bat of Sydney Wagner. And that breaks up Penta's perfect game. No hitter. Good at bat that time by Wagner as she just went with that one and served it into left field.
The catcher, number 15.
And that will bring up the top of the order. Abby Perkins will come to the plate. She struck out her first time. And Wagner will lead off of first base. She's 2 out of 2 on stolen bases on the season. Strike called on Perkins. High and tight for ball one. This is by far the most difficult inning that Penta has had. She's about to throw her 44th pitch. Swing and a miss. Good location there by Penta, down and away. And she's ahead in the count, 1-2. Stayed alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Wagnon leads from first. Up high, 2 balls, 2 strikes. This one is grounded to third. Quickly across the diamond. Cox makes the play, and the Gamecocks are retired in the third inning. They do get their first safety of the game, and we will go to the fourth with Auburn leading 1-0. You're watching college softball on ESPN+.
The perfect checking account doesn't exist. Not at a bank, that is. So why do you keep looking there? At AmFirst, you can get no minimum balance or monthly fees, an instant issue debit card, and free checks with unlimited check writing. But who doesn't want more? Like a rewards program you'll actually use, and convenient digital tools that make it easy to manage your account from anywhere. Now you could try and find that at a bank, or you could save yourself the trouble by checking with us.
I need to try it first.
Designated player number 2.
Top half of the fourth inning, and Auburn leads this one 1-0. Jesse Blaine, the DP, will lead off here for the Tigers. Carter delivers, ball 1. You may have seen that shot when we came back on the air after the break. It is Military Day here at University Field, the home opener on the season for the Gamecocks. Strike 1, 1-1 the count. Talked about how there was a lot going on for these schools athletically today. Auburn baseball playing Troy this evening. And here is a drive into left field and off the top of the fence, and a home run for Jessie Blaine. She just did get enough of that one. A leadoff home run here in the fourth inning, and Auburn has doubled their advantage to 2-0. Take a look at this. Didn't know if it was going to carry out there, but it hit the top of the wall and bounced over for the solo homer for Jessie Blaine. And for Blaine, that's her second of the season and her 7th RBI. Now Lindsey Garcia stands in. This one is lifted on the infield, and Brantley Bonds is there to put it away at second base for out number 1. Aubrey Lisenby, the catcher, will come up. Finishing that thought on things going on, Auburn baseball playing Troy today. Auburn basketball, men's basketball, playing host tonight to Ole Miss here on campus at Jacksonville State. JSU's men's basketball team is also playing this evening across campus. Here is a drive down the left field line, home run distance, but it is foul. So a noisy strike for Aubrey Lisenby, the Auburn catcher. One out here in the fourth, one in as well. Solo leadoff homer by Jesse Blaine. Oh and 2. And that one is low and away for ball one. Been a beautiful day here in eastern Alabama, northeast Alabama. Lisenby lifts this one to left field. Slowing and making the catch is Wagnon for out number 2. There was some thunderstorms, as you know. There is another look at the play by Wagnon. Thunderstorms came across the state overnight and a little bit into this morning, and then things cleared off, and it's just been a gorgeous day here. Temperature got up into the low 60s. Very comfortable at game time. Strike one to Denver Bryant. Bryant grounded to third, her first time up, as Carter is trying to get things wrangled back in after giving up a solo homer off the top of the fence out in left field to Blaine. Bryant squares to bunt, pulls it back for ball one. The way the fencing is here at University Field, the fence is a little bit lower across the alleys and center field, and then a raised fence out in left and right. And here is a drive down the right field line just outside of the foul line, and Bryant will come back to the plate to face a 1-2 count. But the fencing out in left and right field is a high fence, so to get one out of here, you got to poke it pretty good, and to hit the top of the fence, pretty amazing. That's what Blaine did a moment ago. 1-2. This one is lifted into shallow right and falls in for a base hit. So Bryant is aboard with her first hit. That is the 5th hit of the game for Auburn.
Number 12, Carly McCondishi.
Caught that one off the top of the bat and over the head of Bonds. And Carly McCondishi will stand in with a runner at first and 2 outs. Carter delivers. This one is lifted into shallow center, diving for it, but unable to make the play was Bobbitt. And here comes Bryant racing for home. She will score. And McCondishi will stand at third. Diving stop tried to be made here by Bobbitt, but it was just out of her reach and then got by her. And it was a good thing that the left fielder Wagnon was backing it up. The throw home off the mark, and McCondishi with an RBI. I imagine they'll score that a double and that she took third on the throw. But that's the second run of the inning for Auburn, and the top of the order is back up. Michaela Packer, who already has 2 hits tonight. Runner on third with 2 outs. The infield was a little bit shallow that time, and that was why McCondishi was able to get it over the head of Cameron McLemore, the shortstop. 1 ball, 1 strike to Packer, the Auburn center fielder. This one is grounded right back to Kat Carter, and she will throw to first to retire Packer for the first time tonight. And that will bring the fourth inning to a close. But the Tigers able to add to their lead. They lead it 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. You're watching college softball on ESPN+.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the middle of the fourth inning, and tonight, in honor of Military Night, we ask that you please rise with us and join us in singing God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, wide with
God Bless America playing here. Let's listen in.
God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Mentioned that it was Military Day night here at University Field, so a tribute to the troops there. They had one prior to the game as one of the Jacksonville State military professors threw out the first pitch, and they have already recognized current service members and former service members, and now the playing of God Bless America here between the top and bottom of the fourth inning. And we will go here to the bottom of the fourth with Auburn leading 3-0 now.
So why do you keep looking there? At Amherst,
The
you can get no minimum balance.
top half of this inning,
Instant issue debit.
they now have 5 hits.
Limited check rate.
Jacksonville State has just mustered the 1 hit back in the third, and they will have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up. Keely Bobbitt, Lindsey Richardson, Brantley Bonds, the scheduled hitters against Maddie Pinta, who has been terrific tonight for Auburn. So Bobbitt, who lined out to center field in the first, will stand in. It's interesting that Packer is shading her over toward left center just a little bit, and that's where she lined out to her in the first inning. So good scouting by the Tigers. Well, let's see if Bobbitt can beat the expectations here, if you will. This one is softly lined over to third base and taking a couple steps backward to make the play. Sydney Cox for out number 1.
The perfect checking account does
There for Bobbitt, and Lindsey Richardson, the designated player, will come to the plate. She grounded to first, her first time up, back in the first inning. And Pinta pulls a string, off-speed pitch for strike number 1. And that one is fouled back to the screen. Richardson down in the count, 0-2. Richardson, the sophomore out of Moody, Alabama. And Pinta delivers. And there is a grounder down to short, and that one eats up Peralta, and Richardson is on base. We'll see how they score that one. It was very hard hit. And I think there's some discussion going on about how to score that one. Nevertheless, Richardson stands over there. And they will rule it an error. So Richardson stands over there. They'll call that an error on Peralta. And it looks like we have a pinch runner down at first. And that's going to be Savannah Sudduth running for Richardson. Bonds will stand in for Jacksonville State. With a runner at first, she struck out her first time up. And there is a swing and a miss. Bonds leads the team in hitting. And with no runs on the board so far for the Gamecocks, she'd like to get into one here. High and away for ball one. Standing room only here at University Field for this one between Auburn and Jacksonville State. Brantley Bonds will foul this one out of play. They had a hit and run on, did the Gamecocks, as Sudduth, pinch running at first, had taken off. And Bonds fouled it off. So it's a 1-2 count now on Bonds. And swing and a miss for strike three. She has struck out both plate appearances today. And Cameron McLemore will come to the plate. She flew out to right field her first time up.
The shortstop, number 5, Cameron McLemore.
Pinta delivers. Upstairs for ball one. Sudduth, the senior out of Lamar County High School in Vernon, is the pinch runner down at first base. Here's the pitch, and this one is lined into right field. Base hit. Sudduth around second and into third. And runners on the corners for Jacksonville State. That is their first opportunity for a scoring threat here, as Sudduth gets up a little bit gimpy over there at third base. Might have nicked her wrist up a little bit, looks like. But she's back on the bag now and ready to go. And Lisenby out to the circle to have a word with Maddie Pinta. Second hit of the game for Jacksonville State for McLemore, and Hannah Buffington, who flew out to second, will stand in. Runners at the corners. And a swing and a miss. Good velocity and movement there on that one by Pinta. That one right through there for strike two. 0-2 the count to Buffington. Sudduth leads from third. McLemore from first, and this one is lifted softly to the third baseman, Cox, and she puts it away for out number 3. That snuffs out the Jacksonville State threat. They leave 2 runners on base, and we go to the 5th. You're watching college softball on ESPN+.
Jewish Athletics would like to thank Adidas for serving as the official apparel provider of the Gamecocks. With zero sugar and now even more delicious, this is the new Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. The best Coke ever? Be sure to pick up a glass of ice cold Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of Jacksonville State Athletics. Defensive substitution for the Gamecocks, now playing shortstop, number 10, Cheney Phillips.
Defensive substitution for Jacksonville State as Cheney Phillips has checked in to play shortstop for the Gamecocks. Phillips, the senior out of Gardendale. And Auburn, who put up a run in the first and 2 in the fourth, back up there in the top of the fifth. And Sydney Cox is the hitter for the Tigers. She grounded to the pitcher, Kat Carter, and then reached on an error by the first baseman, Fortner. That one misses, a ball and a strike to the Tiger third baseman. We're talking about Maddie Pinta's performance. So yes, she gets the strikeouts, but one thing that I've noticed in this game as Cox fouls that one back is that she's also getting some pretty soft contact from these Gamecock hitters. A lot of flyouts or soft liners on the infield. A ball and 2 strikes to Cox. Carter has pitched well tonight. Here's a 1-2. Strike 3 as she swung through it. That is the second strikeout for Kat Carter. It's her 19th strikeout on the season. And that will get Nelia Peralta up. Peralta drove in a run with a single in the first and flew out to center field back in the third. She's 1 for 2. Auburn leads it 3-0, top of the fifth. Pitch right through there. After this game, Auburn will be playing in a tournament in Auburn. Nice breaking ball, but it apparently was out of the zone. 2-1 the count. I think they may call that tournament the War Eagle Invite. There's a fly ball out of play. But they will have ULM, Syracuse, Delaware State, Bradley, all involved in that. Jacksonville State will be on the road at a tournament this weekend. This one is bounced towards short. Up with it is Phillips, and Cheney Phillips throws out Peralta at first for out number 2.
First baseman number 77, Bree Ellis.
Jacksonville State is in the I-75 tournament over in Atlanta over the weekend. They'll be playing Georgia State a couple of times and Georgia Tech a couple of times. 2 outs in the inning now, and Bree Ellis is the hitter for Auburn. She's 0 for 2, grounded to third, flew out to first. And she takes a ball. That one right through there. Carter has thrown 65 pitches here with 2 down in the in the fifth. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Ellis. That one upstairs. Bree Ellis, a 5'10" freshman out of Houston, Texas, Memorial High School. And this one is lifted high into the night. And Phillips slides over from the shortstop position to make the catch behind the second base bag. And a 1-2-3 inning for Kat Carter. Nothing doing for Auburn in the fifth. We'll be back after these words. You're watching college softball on ESPN+.
With a strikeout in that inning, the Gamecocks now have 2 Oleo strikeouts in today's game. If the Gamecocks strike out 6 opposing batters in the home game this season, everyone in attendance will receive a coupon for a free donut from our friends at Oleo's Donuts, located in the Drum Ball.
Bottom of the fifth inning, Jacksonville State will send Carson Mosley, Megan Fortner, and Sydney Wagnon, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters, up to the dish. And Maddie Pinta begins her 5th inning of work. And this one is laced into center field, but right at the center fielder Packer, and she puts it away for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out. Good solid contact that time by Mosley, but I don't think Packer had to move at all. It was right at her. Take a look on the replay here. Right in stride. She catches it. Didn't have to move. So here is Fortner, grounded out to short, her only time up. This one is lifted high right in front of the plate, and Lisenby jumps out from behind home plate to make that catch quickly. 2 outs, 2 pitches, and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th.
Number 24, Sydney Wagnon.
Wagnon will stand in. She has one of the 2 Gamecock hits on the night. She lifted one to left field, her only time up. Takes a strike. And did she check her swing? They'll ask. She did indeed. A ball and a strike to Sydney Wagnon, the Jacksonville State left fielder. took something off there. And again, she checked her swing. 2-1 the count. Wagner has slowed Pinta down a little bit. She got 2 outs on 2 pitches to start this inning. And this one is curled down the left field line and out of reach of the left fielder, McConaughey. And it is a foul ball. So the count even now at 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Bouncing ball, giving ground was Peralta, and she puts it away for out number 3. Pinta has retired 4 in a row as we go to the 6th inning of play. Auburn leads at 3-0. You're watching college softball on ESPN+.
The Redbird Coffee House, Kingdom Community Coffee, the friendliest spot in the Jacksonville Square and a proud supporter of JSU Athletics. Fans, be sure to stop by for a hot, fresh cup of coffee and your favorite pastry at 5 Public Square in Jacksonville. Our friends from the Redbird Coffee House. There's hitting defensive changes for the Gamecocks. Moving to right field, number 24, Sydney Wagner. In the game to play left field, number 2, Lauren Hunt. Leading off the top of the 6th inning.
We go to the 6th with Auburn leading 3-0. Maddie Pinta pitching a shutout for the Tigers, and Kat Carter has pitched well herself for the Gamecocks, but finds herself down by a 3 spot here. And Jessie Blaine, who homered back in the 4th inning, stands in there to lead off the top of the 6th. Ball 1 to Jessie Blaine. Takes a strike there. One and one the count to Blaine. That one, nice location by Carter. 1-2 the count. That one bounced up there. So 2 balls, 2 strikes to Blaine. This one is poked foul down the right field line. 3-6-1 for Auburn, 0-2-1 for Jacksonville State. Auburn has left 4 runners on base, Jacksonville State 3. Here is a base hit over the bag at second base, and Blaine is 2 for 3 on the evening, and she stands at first. Just muscled that one out of the infield, and it looks like we're going to have a pinch runner coming in for the Tigers. And it looks like it's going to be Abby Smith, the freshman out of Austin, Texas. She'll run for Blaine.
Pinch running for the Tigers at first base, number 20, Abby Smith. Now batting for Auburn, the right fielder.
And that will bring Lindsey Garcia to the plate. Garcia 0 for 2. She's flown out to short, flown out to second. There is a shot down toward the Auburn dugout. Foul. Abby Smith at first, and Lindsey Garcia facing an 0-1 count here. Nobody out in the top of the 6th. And she shows bunt and fouls it off. She's in a hole 0-2. Coach Dean runs through some signs down there at third base for Garcia. She's out of Coral Springs, Florida, junior. And here's the 0-2 pitch. Stayed alive and flew this one out of play back toward the right. No balls, 2 strikes. Again, flown out of play. I think Garcia a little bit frustrated with herself that she missed that pitch. That's one she really liked. Here it is again, the 0-2. This one is lined into right field, base hit. Good piece of hitting by Garcia. Flying around the third is Smith, and sliding safely into second is Garcia. So a single for Garcia, and she'll take second on the throw, and Abby Smith moves all the way around to third. And Auburn has something cooking here in the top of the 6th with runners on second and third and nobody out. Nice at-bat there by Lindsey Garcia. Aubrey Lisenby, the Tiger catcher, will stand in. She has flown out to second, flown out to left. And Carter will try to somehow get out of this mess and keep the game within reach. Ball 1 to Aubrey Lisenby. She lifts this one to left field. That's a base hit, and it gets by the left fielder Hunt, who just checked into the game for the Gamecocks. And that will be an RBI, 2 RBI double for Aubrey Lisenby. Here it is again. Good solid contact there, and the ball goes all the way to the fence. And Abby Smith comes down from third to score. Garcia scores from second, and Auburn leads it now 5-0. And Coach Dean making another change here. Another pinch runner for the Tigers. A hurry, it's probably a speed up thing. Lisenby the catcher, as Riley McNeemer will go down to second base and run. And that will get Denver Bryant to the plate. She has grounded out to third and singled and scored. This is roped into left field. Hunt plays it on a hop and gets it into the infield quickly, but the errant throw will allow Bryant to scoot down to second. So 4 hits in a row here for Auburn as they have strung together a nice rally. McNeamer went down to third base, and a lot of solid contact here for Auburn in the top of the 6th. And Carly McConaughey will hit. She has an RBI single back in the 4th, and she struck out in the 3rd. 2 runners on here on 2nd and 3rd. Auburn looking to break it wide open. That one is fouled back to the screen. No balls and a strike to the left-handed hitting McConaughey. And there is a bunt squeeze play. Play is made by Kat Carter, but the runners cannot advance. And they will score that, I believe, as an infield hit. So the bases are loaded now for the dangerous Michaela Packer.
Number 10, Michaela Packer.
She is 2 for 3 this evening. Fouls this one back. They gave an error, I believe, on Garcia's hit as Coach Jana McGinnis makes her way out to the circle to talk things over with Carter. They gave an error, I believe, on Garcia's hit, or let me rephrase, on Lisenby's hit that allowed Garcia to score, and the ball got by the left fielder, Lauren Hunt. 5-0 the score. Auburn with the bases loaded here, and they're double digits in hits now with 11. Michaela Packer singled and scored in the 1st and singled in the 3rd. She grounded out to the pitcher, Carter, back in the 4th. And she stands in with the bases loaded and an 0-1 count. Took a little bit off of that one. Good pitch by Carter. 0-2. Gamecocks need an out somewhere, and Auburn looking to break this one open. Just missed. One and 2 the count. That one bounced up there. Nice job by Abby Perkins breaking down and keeping that one in front of her. 2 and 2 the count now on Packer. Bases full of Tigers. She lifts this one into right field, and Buffington will have to play it on a hop. She will hold Bryant at 3rd, but a run does score as McNeamer comes in from 3rd base. So an RBI single there for Michaela Packer. And the bases are still loaded, and Sydney Cox will be the hitter, and I believe Coach McGinnis may be making a change here in the circle. She comes out to talk to home plate umpire Aaron Golden. And let's see who will get the call here for the Gamecocks. Auburn now leading 6-0 and still got a full count, or excuse me, bases loaded. And Cox, the scheduled hitter for the Tigers. And they're still talking about things. And here comes the new Gamecock pitcher. It will be Sarah Curry. As Kat Carter gets a nice hand as she comes off the field. She pitched well. This inning has been an outlier for her. And Sarah Curry will check in, the freshman from Lawrenceville, Georgia. 5'10". She's 1-1 on the year, making her 4th appearance. She has a 2.56 earned run average. In 13.2 innings pitched, she has given up 17 hits, 7 runs, 5 of them earned, 9 walks, and 6 strikeouts. And she comes into the game in the soup here with the bases full of Auburn Tigers. Bryant's over at third, McConaughey is at second, and Packer is at first. And I think McConaughey may be getting lifted here for a pinch runner, maybe. I believe that's the case. She comes to the dugout, and checking in is Rose Roach. Roach will pinch run down at second. Roach, the 5'6" freshman from Elburn, Illinois. So Sarah Curry will go to work here. The right-handed pitcher will face Sydney Cox, the Auburn third baseman. She's got a chance to perhaps put this one out of reach. With the bases loaded and nobody out. And 3 are already in. 6 consecutive hits to start this inning for Auburn. And we are ready to go. Curry about to throw her first pitch of the game. That one is upstairs for ball 1. Inside for ball 2. 2-0 to Cox. Way upstairs. Three balls and no strikes to Cox. And she walks on 4 straight. And a run comes in. So a bases loaded walk, and the bases are still loaded. And Peralta will be the hitter. Nelia Peralta is 1 for 3. She had an RBI single back in the 4th. This one is driven into center field, and it gets by the center fielder, Bobbitt, and goes all the way to the fence, and this may clear the bases. It does. And into third will be Peralta. That'll be a single and a 2-base error on Bobbitt. And all three of the Tigers who were on base come in to score. So a very profitable inning for Auburn here. They have 7 runs in and still nobody out. And I think we may have a pinch hitter here for the Tigers. Bree Ellis will be lifted. And Maddie Majors will be the hitter.
Heavy attention, pinch hitting for the Tigers, number 11, Maddie Majors.
Majors out of Birmingham, Spain Park High School. And she hits with a runner at third and still nobody out here in the top of the 6th. Strike thrown by Curry. Majors on the year has 4 plate appearances. This is her 5th plate appearance on the season, and she's down in the count 0-2. She's 0 for 3 on the year with a walk. And right through there for strike, called strike 3 for the first out of the inning. That's the first strikeout for Curry.
Now batting number 20, Abby Smith.
And Abby Smith, who pinch ran earlier in the game for Jessie Blaine, who led off this inning with a single, now comes in to hit. Smith scored the first run of this inning. Still a runner at third with 1 out as Peralta stands over there. Squaring to bunt and takes a ball. 2-0. Gamecock's going to have some magic in the bottom of half of the 6th to extend this game, as Auburn has put up a 7 spot to this point here in the top half of the inning. Way upstairs, 3-0. And a 4-pitch walk to Abby Smith. So runners on the corners now for Garcia, who singled and scored earlier in the inning.
Lindsey Garcia.
Auburn with 13 hits now to just 2 for Jacksonville State. Off-speed pitch by Curry gets Garcia out in front, 0-1. Nothing in 2, or excuse me, 1-1, as that one was upstairs. Corner infielders are inside their bags at first and third. The middle infielders playing at double play depth. 2-1 to count to Garcia. This one is lifted high onto the infield, and making the catch over there, Mosley. So that's the second out of the inning as Garcia flies out to third. And coming in to hit here will be Aspen Godwin. She'll be hitting for Riley McNeamer, who came in to run in this inning for Aubrey Lisenby. And Godwin lifts this one deep to right, slowing on the warning track though, and making the play is Buffington. And the sixth inning comes to a close, and it was Auburn scoring 7 runs in the inning to take a 10-0 lead. We'll be back with the bottom half of the sixth. You're watching college softball on ESPN+.
The perfect checking account doesn't exist. Not at a bank, that is. So why do you keep looking there? At AmFirst, you can get no minimum balance or monthly fees, an instant issue debit card, and free checks with unlimited check writing. But who doesn't want more? Like a rewards program you'll actually use, and convenient digital tools that make it easy to manage your account from anywhere. Now you could try and find that at a bank, or you could save yourself the trouble by checking with us.
I need to try it first.
Auburn has broken the game wide open with a 7 spot in the sixth inning. They lead it 10-0, and Maddie Pinta will try to finish this one off. Complete game shutout's what she's looking for. She will face here in the bottom half of the sixth inning, the top of the Gamecock order, Perkins, Bobbitt, and Sudduth, the scheduled hitters for Jacksonville State. Abby Perkins is 0 for 2 on the night, a strikeout and a grounder to the third. And the freshman out of Buford, Georgia, awaits and fouls the first pitch off from Pinta. Maddie Pinta has been sensational tonight in the circle, giving up just 2 Gamecock hits and 3 total base runners. And there is a foul at the plate. It's 0-2 to the Jacksonville State catcher. And the pitch is well over the head of Aspen Godwin, who is in at catcher now. And a swing and a miss by Perkins, and she goes down swinging for the second time tonight, and Pinta records the first out. And we have a pinch hitter here for Bobbitt, as Addie Robinson will stand in, the senior out of 5 Points, Alabama, and Hanley High School by way of Wallace State Community College. And she takes the ball. Nobody on, 1 out. Robinson on the season, hitting .455. in limited action. She has a homer and 7 runs driven in. And she fouls that pitch off. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Robinson. And that one is grounded foul just outside of third. It'll be 1 ball, 2 strikes. (10, 13, and 1 for Auburn. 0, 2, and 3 for the Gamecocks. And a swing and a miss. Consecutive strikeouts for Penta. Perkins and Robinson go down. And the last hope for Jacksonville State will be Lindsey Richardson, who checks back in after Savannah Sudduth ran for her back in the 4th inning. She has grounded to first and reached on an error. Richardson fouls the first pitch off, 0-1. And time called. And Coach Nick Dean wants to talk to Godwin. Something about the communication between him and his catcher and his pitcher. As Godwin just checked into the game at catcher, Aubrey Lisenby caught the previous 5 innings for Auburn. Here's the 0-1, fouled back to the screen, 0-2. Richardson trying to extend the game here for Jacksonville State. And that one is high and tight, ball 1. Home plate umpire Aaron Golden hearing it a little bit from the Auburn fans in the crowd after that one. 1-2 the count. Way outside. Gets out of the glove of Godwin. 2-2 the count with 2 outs. And Penta gets the sign from the dugout and delivers. And Richardson spoils it. Good battle here between Penta and Lindsey Richardson, the Gamecock designated player. Two. Pulled the string and struck her out, and that will do it. Penta strikes out the side in the bottom of the 6th, and Auburn will win the game by a score of 10-0. Tremendous pitching performance by Maddie Penta in the circle for Auburn, and they run their record to 10-1 on the year. The Gamecocks fall to 6-4. Both teams shaking hands at home plate, and that is going to do it here from Jacksonville State. Again, Auburn 10,